People have always commented on how they love the vibrancy of our space. And yes, that's primarily due to the culture and vibes, but we wanted the colors on the wall to reflect that. I remember us always saying, like, we don't want our space to feel sterile. When we have an all white space, it could lend itself a little bit more to that. Greetings, internet world. My name is Ross Walters. I'm one of the founders of Valor Coffee. We are sitting in the roastery that we roast in every week. We record this podcast once a week. It's geared towards coffee professionals that are trying to improve their skills, that are opening cafes, starting coffee carts, running roasteries, people like you, leaders in the industry. Today, we get into an absolutely scintillating topic, which is 5 or so design tips for opening a coffee shop. Many of you out there are trying to open coffee shops on a budget. I know we have in both of our cafes. You don't have the budget to hire an interior designer, and you may not even have experience with interior design unless it's like in your home. I know that's how we work. We just talked about lessons that we've learned, common mistakes that we've seen play out. So be sure to listen all the way to the end, because the end might shock you. I want to make you aware of a partnership we have going on with some SEO, search engine optimization experts. If you don't know what SEO is, I didn't at one point, so let me tell you, in case you don't know. Whenever you're searching coffee cart near me or specialty coffee shop, coffee wholesale partner near me, you want your business to be ranking at the top of that list on Google. That is like one of the most important things that you could do for your business in your marketing. So the people at Local Eyes, they are good friends of ours, and they're helping us with our business and our catering operation. If you go to localeyesgrowth.com/valor, you can get 50% off website creation services like one-time services and 20% off recurring services like SEO help. So be sure to go to that address and check out what they have going on. Without further ado, let's get to the show. And welcome to another episode of the Valor Coffee Podcast. My name is Ross Walters. This is Riley Westbrook to my left, and Ethan Rivers to my right.
Thank you, Ross. Here's a guy.
Now, here's a guy that is trying to record a podcast. And Riley, let's get this out of the way. Tell us what happened on your way to work today. Why were you so late? Tell us.
Well, I was driving down. Well, okay, I'll start from earlier. So I woke up this morning.
Suddenly, I was awake.
Got in the shower, got dressed, left my house.
Yep.
On the way here, I'm driving. I'm smiling, getting ready for my day. I practiced my smile on the way to work.
You're looking in the rearview mirror at yourself.
Yeah,
practicing
actually,
your smile.
This happened because I wasn't paying attention.
Are you trying out any new smile concepts like soft smile, teeth?
We'll get to that.
Joker.
That's kind of like what this podcast is. Oh my gosh, I just noticed the blue.
We can get to that later.
Sorry.
We'll get to that later. We have a lot to get to.
So a deer hit my car.
Yeah.
Sideswiped you.
Yeah. It sideswiped me.
And we were fortunate enough to review the dash cam footage.
That's right.
You came in and pulled it up with your flash drive.
Yeah.
Would you call that a flash drive?
I pulled the thumb drive for sure.
The thumb drive. And isn't that just wild that we were able to watch this deer just get absolutely deleted by Riley's Tesla Model 3?
We're not sure what happened.
It could still, it's not. Right? I mean, what do you think?
It was a buck. How many point buck? 6?
It was small.
6'4".
It probably would have had a promising future for sure. But
I think it's still alive.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. It didn't look too good, but nevertheless, you made it. You're okay.
Thank you.
Your entire, the whole right side, passenger side of your Tesla, I feel like really needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Because now it's messed up.
Yeah. I already filed my claim.
Dang. On top of this.
Fortunately, I have not too bad of a deductible, so it'll be okay.
Now, Ethan, Riley earlier made a comment about your shirt. Right. Do you want to tell our listeners what that's all about?
Yeah. Well, hey, sorry to all of our international listeners and maybe interstate listeners. We had a little in-store promotion this weekend, something that we like to call Valor Vintage. And Ross or Riley, feel free to comment While I'm talking, you have permission.
Thank you.
A little thing we do nowadays, we've done it twice now, where, someone, could be me, could be Ross's wife, could be our assistant creative director, Lyndon, thrifts and finds some nice vintage thrifted gear. And now, thanks to Riley and Lyndon, we can screen print stuff in-house, which I don't know if we talked about that on air, but we're really excited about what that means for the future.
Absolutely.
For us. So there's a rack of clothes in the Dunwoody store. There's probably about 20 pieces left.
Those still for sale?
Yeah, not sure how much we started with. Riley?
More than 20.
Probably more than 20. But I was there yesterday and said, I must have this top.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
and you've got the put empathy into action graphic there, one of our core values.
In white.
How cool is that? And then you've got this monochrome freaking iced out over here. Valor. So looking really good. Screen printing. I'm excited for what that's going to unlock for us.
Me too. I'm just excited for the ability to conceptualize something and have it printed on a shirt the next day if we want to. That's just offers a lot of freedom, and there's definitely a learning curve and some amount of, let's be real. Let's because this is about business. Maybe.
This is business.
We wanted to learn and get our grips with screen printing on vintage clothes that we sell for not a high ticket item.
That's right.
Before we start printing on expensive blanks.
Now, for the person out there that has never gone through the process of creating their own merch, how long does that process take?
Oh,
such a good question, Ross.
The design.
First of all, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Second of all, thank you. Third of all,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. So
we're trouble this morning, y'all.
No kidding. I'm trying to. It just all depends. It like if we were gonna get a tumbler printed.
Yeah.
You know what? Public call out here because I'm just gonna do it.
Go there.
Messaging fellows, like custom branding design team is a genuine nightmare.
Oh no.
Some feedback.
Yeah.
Here on the internet.
Guys, I think
it's not personal.
Yeah, it's not personal. It's just, it's all business.
It's real.
And you have kind of taken any chances of us having custom tumblers before the holidays off the table because every single time I send an email to them, it takes them 3 days to respond. And I'm just like, I'm trying to give you thousands of dollars for like the 15th time.
You're just a guy trying to gear up for the holidays.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Hey, and I'll be candid. 3 days doesn't sound that bad, but maybe there's some back and forth in that.
Exactly.
It's not just 3 days.
Let me expand here. And this has happened every time I've tried to order a tumbler. It's, hey, I would like to order this. 3 days later, they respond and they're like, question, or like, I'll get the design template for you or something like that. Then they'll send the design template. Then I have the design template, me or Lyndon put the design on the template, send it back to them, and they're like, oh, sorry, we're actually out of that color now.
And
then there's back and forth where that happened twice.
Oh no.
Right.
And so not good. Not good.
Oh.
I've been dwelling on this whole notion of what it means to truly partner with someone in business. You know, like you are trying to be a patron of Fellow, right? But whenever you are going down this whole process of creating a piece of merch, it's way more of a partnership because there's so much back and forth. It takes a lot of time. You're trusting them to make, dozens of this product, dropping a lot of cash. It takes, this whole thing. So it's more of a partnership than it is just like purchasing something from someone, and it's made me really reconsider and reassess how we are being partners to our wholesale partners.
Yeah.
That, they're not just buying coffee on our web store. There's nothing wrong with that, but
nothing wrong with that.
As for example, we're renovating Free Throw, our flagship blend. we're trying to find
Pardon our progress.
we're trying to completely change it in terms of the blend components while still keeping that flavor profile everyone knows and loves. So I've been calling people, telling them about this, and I think it goes a long way to really include them in that whole process. And I think it also really humanizes us as business owners that are trying to do their best, trying to figure things out, solve problems just like everyone else.
And I am by no means expecting perfection. And I by no means am saying that we are perfect at this, because I see emails that slip through the cracks and it just happens. And like we drop the ball on things too. I'm just more literally talking about it from a stance of like, you know, psychologically, what does it do? It makes me be like, I guess I'm going to go to Created Co. and they'll probably want my business, because that's how it makes me feel. It's like they don't actually care about my business enough to, like, whenever I initially say in the first email, I want 156 Dune color tumblers to set those, like, have a system to like set those aside for me as a returning customer.
Right.
And this is coming from someone who loves Fellows products and owns, I think I've literally bought every single item of a product line they've ever released.
Yeah. Yeah. And certainly we really value the transparency on this podcast. And along those lines, another thing I wanted to talk about today, we just purchased a Simple Cart. We talked about
what?
We've talked about Simple Carts. I wouldn't say ad nauseum on this program,
just nauseum.
I would say like mid nauseum. We've talked about them. Just because if you don't know, we have a mobile coffee cart side of our business. It's actually how we got our start back in 2016. And we just had our first cart built by Riley's dad with wood and granite.
Thank you, Riley's dad.
So, and then our second cart, we sent a design to a local metal fabricator, a welder of sorts,
named Brad
from Radiant Metalworks.
Thank you.
Shout out. And he did a wonderful job creating that. But this time we're trying to find an option that can handle scale a little bit more and is also smaller, because sometimes our cart can't fit into elevators, so we need a smaller option. So we just bought one. So stay tuned. And we also bought their hub system. That is sort of like an all-in-one plumbing system where you just simply have these quick connectors. And you know, we bought the whole package of like their milk pitcher rinser and everything. So we'll be giving our honest thoughts on that.
Yeah, and full transparency, we talked yesterday and we were kind of discussing like...
You and I talked, yeah.
Yeah. And we were discussing how, you know, like we've talked to Simple Car a little bit.
Yeah.
And we probably don't really need the hub thing. Like we know how to plumb it in ourselves.
Right.
But we wanted to buy with our own money the full Simple Cart package.
Yes.
To where we can know if we want to officially endorse and recommend.
Everybody's waiting on that.
Yeah, everyone has been asking.
The Simple Cart system.
Well, a huge part of our listener base consists of people that are thinking about starting a cart.
Yeah.
Or have a cart, or they have a coffee company of some sort, roaster or cafe, and they might want to have a cart branch. So to be able to have a really unbiased perspective on, hey, this could be a really plug and play solution for you just to buy this thing, and you already have a ready-made cart ready to go, would be really cool. Now we have a scintillating topic to get to, but before we do, what coffee are we drinking today, Ethan?
Man, okay, wow. Thank you for the opportunity to share. I would like to share that this is a blend component of our future holiday blend called Jolly Juice. So this coffee is a naturally processed Mexican coffee.
Shoo. Wow.
And that is literally all I know, because I saw the bag over there when I was making coffee. But I don't know if you guys know any more about it. I know Mr. Sam, our roaster, is our green guy.
Yeah.
So he's been on the sourcing side for Jolly Juice.
I'm out of the loop on Jolly Juice. I'll be honest with you. And I want to get in the loop because it's about to hit.
Here we go. By the time this podcast comes out, Jolly Juice will be on the shelves.
Yes.
Comes out Friday, November 15th. And it is, if I'm correct, and I think I am, 50% Mexican natural, 50% Colombia honey.
Honey, yeah.
Yeah. So we loved Jolly Juice last year, and I think we were just like, how do we hit this profile? And this did that.
You think we'll end up putting that on drip in the cafes?
Methinks, yes. Methinks, yes.
Knows.
I love putting Jolly Juice on drip.
Yeah.
This time of year.
Yep.
This is where it's kind of funny. The community, someone was talking about like what's everyone's favorite project planning, like software and like system. And this is where our system has finally started to really come in clutch.
Basecamp?
Yeah, for Basecamp. And I kind of referenced onboarding coffees because so many people are a part of those recurring projects.
Right.
And I think just having that and getting on top of it, like Sam roasted the coffee for the cafes like at the end of last week for Jolly Juice on drip.
Oh.
So that it's going to be
Ready.
nice and aged. Because previously, it kind of, especially the seasonal blends with Hayride and Jolly Juice, we always put those on drip and it kind of sneaks up on us. And we're like, oh, this coffee is 2 days off roast and it's on drip.
And maybe we even have, 30, 40 pounds of the previous coffee. And we're like, well, we got to get through.
Yep.
Ooh, that one's big too. And it's nice to have fresh retail boxes on offer on day one, but aged coffee for drip.
And that is exactly what's going to happen.
Man, that's great.
Cool.
That's the kind of stuff that we used to be like, dang it, we should have thought about that like last year.
Yep.
So we've grown.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I'm enjoying this coffee. I can't wait to try it in Jolly Juice.
Hey,
Kind of tastes like, Propel.
you're getting a Propel note?
I'm tasting Propel. You get that?
Would you just say that that's the taste of stevia?
I don't think.
Listen.
Steve. Hey, I was getting a cola note.
Cola? Yeah.
And I'm really enjoying it. I'm excited to see how it blends with the Columbia. Full transparency, y'all. I'm going to be real. This was brewed with third wave water. Okay. And I really feel like we feel that in the cup this morning.
I think that's why it's so vibrant.
There's some serious vibrancy, more than half. Some are saying 60%.
Oh, 55, 60.
55, 60, maybe 65.
I don't know. Either way.
Take the average, 60%. Yeah.
So shout out to Third Wave Water for just letting us use their product. I'm flattered. I'm honored. And you guys can do it too. You just use code VALOR at checkout. Get a free cupping. I have your full attention right now. If you use code VALOR at checkout, you get a free cupping spoon and a free water TDS meter.
Even us?
Well, you got to be the first 5 orders every day.
Okay,
and that's going to happen.
And you didn't even say what else you get. The main thing.
You also get 15% off your order of the Third Wave Water packets.
Yeah.
So I would seriously recommend it, guys, for you.
Spoiler alert. We've got an episode with Charles from Third Wave Water.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yes. And I'd like to crowdsource a little bit, if I may. I'm going to be interviewing him and his associate as well. Taylor, I believe his name is.
Okay.
One might say.
Allegedly.
Well, you're going to get to the bottom of it.
So they're water experts, at least compared to me. Which isn't saying much, but if you could just comment below on this video or send an email to info@valor.coffee. If you have any questions about water, maybe I'll even make a post in the community. Hey, I'm about to interview these jamokes. Do you have any questions about water in your operation? So, where my head's at is like on the home brewing side and on the commercial cafe side. What is the importance of quality dialed in water in coffee brewing? I just have a lot of questions about that.
You should ask them what their water system is like. Like a plumbed in water system.
For a cafe?
For a cafe, or like what they have at their HQ or something.
Right.
Because I'm interested in do they crack open? I mean, obviously, aren't they cracking open their retail packaging, but
Yeah.
are they constantly like
Right.
the jugs?
Are they always doing the thing? So yeah, and what a niche topic, right? But that's sort of the whole point of this podcast, isn't it?
Niche topics.
Super duper niche topics.
Yeah.
Low listener count, but really high engagement and high appreciation, I think. For
that's
what
how we
we're
pitch
offering.
it to the advertisers for sure.
We
Yeah.
do have a poster in the cafe, like right next to Concierge and Alpharetta about the podcast. And so, the everyday cafe goer might be like, oh my gosh, you guys have a podcast? What are you talking about? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's nothing.
Just don't listen to it. It's fine.
Don't bother.
No, yeah.
Hey, I do have something I want to say. I have two things I want to say.
Okay.
First, I just want to shout out you guys for being epic this weekend. We had a little work day at the HQ.
That was fun.
We became electricians.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're incriminating ourselves when the building burns down,
Oh,
So
crap.
forget that we said anything. But we switched out lights all day. We were in the ceiling. We were snipping and putting things together.
Mhm.
It was a hoot. It was great working with you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, just to give you even further look in, we've got this drop ceiling over in the offices, and they had these really ugly.
Grayson put in a picture of like a drop ceiling, like ceiling tiles, just like
So picture ceiling
most
tiles
typical
everywhere.
office ever.
They have these like rectangular, super ugly LED lights. You turn on the lights, and the office is just like, oh.
Some are calling them fluorescent panels.
And so Riley, thought we could put in some Hue can lights.
They're not Hue, but it's okay.
They're not?
No,
Okay.
only ones in the screen printing room are Hue. But
Okay.
I love you.
So
Were they more
They're
expensive?
dimmable.
We
They're
got-
dimmable lights.
we got a quote from an electrician to do all the work for us. Guess how much it was, listeners? Let me hear you. $5,000, okay? And probably plus tax. Just kidding. And so we thought, well, what if we could just pay ourselves a nice chunk,
a lot less than that.
and way less, and for an honest hard day's work, and we could figure it out. We're capable gentlemen, and so that's exactly what we did.
Oh yeah, and it was so easy until it wasn't at the end.
We kind of got in over our heads a little bit,
Yeah,
but
I learned something, and let me tell you, you guys want to know something funny? I went home and replaced a light switch in my house after doing that because I was like, I'm confident.
you
in
were
this now.
riding a high of sorts.
So you come home with all these lights, and you're like, babe, cut the breakers. we're gonna get some nice dimmables in
The
here.
wrinkles.
Yeah.
So today's topic.
Oh, can I just say one more thing, Ross? Please,
Sorry.
please,
Go ahead,
please,
go
please. I want to do another crowdsourcing thing. We are getting new espresso grinders. And we are currently demoing a Mazzer Rober S. And we just want, yep, there it is.
They probably can't see it.
If you can, whatever. I would love, this is probably a really good community question as well. But what espresso grinders do y'all love? Has anyone worked on a Rober and have particular feelings about it? We want to do it right.
What are some of your top priorities for this grinder? What are you looking for?
Dosing consistency is pretty high. Volume, like consistency, pretty high. Easy to clean, easy to disassemble, easy to train someone how to use it.
Yeah.
I will say the interface just looks a little different,
Yeah.
We even, some coffee professionals had a hard time like getting the burrs all in order with how the dial was set up. No shade to us. And, I'm interested to see how a conical burr set affects how we brew coffee,
Yeah.
because it will probably make us change it.
Yeah, I'm a skeptic.
Of conical?
It just still sucks at the E80. We always talk about it. It's just, and for the reference for people who might recommend, we have an E80 and we don't like how it sprays coffee everywhere all the time.
And yes, we have the special funnel. And yes, we have the special like clump crusher. And yes, I clean it all the time and take out the bottom burr and clean that.
Yeah, I'm just like, and that makes me like, did we literally just get a dud But then I've heard this from other people too.
Dude, and that thing, my biggest pet peeve these days is when I'm just ripping, it just turns every shot
the
you do.
torque
It
is
just
too
like,
much, yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
like, get back here.
I know.
You got a job to do.
Dude.
Yeah.
And what makes it even worse is that if it's just like, it's all this big, like, if it was good thing. Because if it was amazing, they just put out the new one that talks to your espresso machine. Like,
What?
it talks to La Marzocco's new machines like ours.
Yeah.
And if you like program in to everything, your recipe, and if you pull a shot and it's supposed to be, 18 in, 45 out in 26 seconds, and it pulls in 25 or 24 seconds, it will automatically make your grind a touch finer.
That sounds really nice.
It sounds nice.
That sounds really
I don't
nice.
trust it.
We're obviously those grumpy guys that are like, well, it just sounds like more stuff to break.
For a reason.
For a reason, we've been burned. But Mazzer, I feel like, has been a tried and true in the specialty coffee espresso community. So we'll see. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with my stuff.
Let's talk about design in coffee shops. Okay. Now, just a little bit about our background. We opened our first cafe in 2019, August of 2019.
August 16th, 2019.
It's about 1,000 square foot space, but that's including like the back room and the bathroom and the break room and the front little room area, like where the actual action goes on. Is it sub 700? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think clock's in around 650.
650 square feet. And obviously that was our first time ever opening a cafe. We didn't go to some school on design or how to open a coffee shop. We were just trying our best. And I think that is a relatable position for a lot of people when they are starting coffee shops. They are trying to do it on a budget. Obviously. I mean, we did that on both of our cafes. They probably don't have the money to hire an interior designer. However, coffee shops, specialty coffee shops, are supposed to look cool, just to put it plainly, right?
The bar is high.
The bar is high, and usually people that are into starting coffee shops are also into like I bet their home looks nice. Like I bet they've got cool furniture. They've got a taste for this sort of thing, is what I'm saying. So I'm wondering, boys, if we could just share some of the lessons we've learned in our 2 build outs in our cafes. And also, we have some experience helping wholesale partners in opening theirs. We haven't done official consulting, but we've extended some wisdom, I feel. And so how about that? I want to start with something super duper simple. And really, that's sort of the theme with all of these little tips, is that the sum is great. The whole is
greater than
the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
The sum is less than
the whole.
Details matter. Look, details matter.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
And so these are all a bunch of little details, but I think they'll really, really help you. The surfaces in your cafe, what are they? You've got the walls, you've got the floor, the ceiling,
windows,
countertops.
What are all the
doorknobs.
things in a coffee shop? Okay. They need to have a glossy finish as opposed to a matte one.
Some, right? Or all.
Well,
Maybe we hash this out.
the high
gloss paint.
the high traffic, touchable, scuffable areas need to have a gloss to them, a non-porous.
Ross, you're already jumping to a core theme that I think is crucial for these people to understand is, yes, this needs to be a beautiful space, and yet it needs to be a high traffic, friendly, beautiful space.
Resilient.
Resiliency, Ross. Wow. Because can I just say something?
Yes.
I wouldn't say it like bothers me because, what does that even mean? But like, y'all ever been to a coffee shop around when it opens and it's epic? And then y'all ever go back to that coffee shop like 3 years later and you're like, golly,
This thing just went through the ringer.
what happened here? This thing got lived in.
Put some miles on that thing.
And hey, we got the exact same entropy battle. That's just something, we talk about cultural entropy a lot in the space and hospitality, but when it comes to the actual, glossy surfaces, that stuff just starts to get dirty. I can think of a little windowsill in Alpharetta that's got like a crack in it, and I'm like, how can I fix that?
Right.
And just if you can see them, other people can see them too.
Yeah. I think about the flooring, right? You are usually going to be working with a concrete floor, right? And in our first cafe, we were working with a general contractor that didn't have that much experience, and the price reflected that. And we were just trying to get her done for as few dollars as possible. And he told us that you can't put a clear coat on the floor. And why we just said, okay, I'm not sure.
Hey, 21-year-old Ethan tried. 21-year-old Ethan was like, I'm pretty sure you can do a clear coat. He's like, no.
Sir, have you ever been into Target or Walmart?
You gotta pick a color. And I was like, why?
You gotta pick a color. Maybe he had like an agenda with the color guys. Like big color was.
I think big color had him.
Big color had him right where they wanted him. Anyways, so we chose this like kind of white gray coat, and at this point, like if you ever go in our Alpharetta cafe, just don't look down.
It's got a distressed
it's
vibe.
relict.
It's relic.
It's
for
relict.
Sure. Yeah. People pay extra for that.
It's kind of just like no matter how clean you make the space, there's always this air of wear and tear, I guess, because of the floors. And so I guess that's a core takeaway. Is like make the floors non-porous, resilient, glossy. The higher the gloss, the higher the resiliency. I think that's fair to say.
And it's to the point now where we're gonna shut the cafe down for a couple days at the top of the year to make the floors great again. And
Get our floor guy in.
Yeah, Dunwoody, obviously, we went with what we wanted, clear coat. But now I'm like, Alpharetta, might have to, we want that thing to shine. Like Target. Like you're talking about Target.
We need to do like a resin pour.
Yeah, like if you look down on that, you should see
your
yourself.
reflection.
Yeah. So, and that's obviously a lot of people wouldn't consider that a stylistic choice, but it's a small price to pay to have a glossy floor if your floor is a lot more resilient.
That's right. Now, speaking of wear and tear, what would you guys say are some of the main decisions we made with our two build outs that have had the most wear and tear? You wish you maybe would have handled it differently.
Baseboards, for sure.
Yeah.
Baseboards being white. And then as we were talking about, I would say just anywhere you have baseboards, you want where feet can kick them, you want it to be glossy paint.
Mm-hmm.
And we have since made that transition.
Right. Glossy and even darker paint. Because even if the gloss gives out, then darker colors are going to hide those scuffs more than a completely, white boxed space.
Yeah.
That's going to have scuffs all over it.
Or heck, what about tile?
Right.
Yeah.
Our bar in Dunwoody, we have tile that goes all the way to the ground. And that tile is kind of holding up down there.
Right.
Easily cleanable.
Yeah.
Easily.
Mm-hmm. You just throw some slime on it and wipe it right off.
You're right, brother.
What about our door in Alpharetta?
That we did have to replace the door in Alpharetta. It wasn't a commercial door. That was tough. And it was also white where it got kicked all the time.
No kick plate.
It did have it had multiple kick plates, but the door got so swollen, with slime that it had to also get replaced. So yeah, I mean, making sure we have the nice like metal doors in Dunwoody. There's probably gonna be a lot of that. Like, well, at Alfreda's it was like this, and then we had to do it like that.
Yeah. Well, then that was a part of the negotiation of,
So what's the door
we had
situation?
a brand of that because Dunwoody did have residential doors.
Yeah.
And we were like, if we're coming to this space, this is going to be a commercial looking ass storefront.
Yeah.
And they replaced everything with, black metal commercial doors, added a new window,
Like
all that
think
stuff.
Target.
Yeah. More like very Target-esque. Like it's automatic. Like you walk up to it, motion
Man,
sensor.
I wish.
Has like the two, like the middle area too that you walk through.
Okay, how about tables? Let's reflect a little bit.
Tables.
Let's reflect on tables with our two cafes.
We haven't won tables yet. We
That's the final beast.
like,
Final
if
boss.
we can just we come to you guys in full transparency. Well, hey, I'll say this: the laminate like tables in Alpharetta have stood the test. Are they nice? Are they
No.
appealing?
Define
No.
nice. I mean,
The ones in Dunway were they nice and appealing?
yeah.
Yes. Are they now? No.
Yeah.
So we're on a journey. I just purchased. I think this is an interesting conversation piece. If this is a good time to talk about it,
I think.
do you bolt down your tables or not? Right. I mean, this is real content for sure. Like,
Yeah.
do you bolt down your tables? Because I like the flexibility of being able to move your tables around. Gives your space some flexibility. But in Dunwoody, at least, we have these drop pendants that we have replaced many pendant because someone moves the table and then
Hits their head.
hits their head on the
Schmack.
glass. And that's a lose-lose, like, okay, should we bolt down the tables? Yes. Should we probably have those pendants so low? No, we should probably raise them up a little bit. So there's give, there's take.
I don't know.
Hey, dude, even if sometimes I didn't mention it, I mean, you don't have to move a table to hit it with your head. That same token.
Been there. I've never broken one.
Okay, you're gonna reference him.
He
He should walk around with his head on a swivel. Okay,
He is a human being. And you'll treat him with respect.
Ross is he's tall.
I'm only
But-
getting bigger.
In Dunwoody, we're going to have to bolt down the tables because they need to be in place and sturdier.
Yeah.
And no one likes a wobbly table.
Oh,
No.
it's
Actually,
awful.
hey, maybe someone. Maybe there's a freak out
No,
there.
I don't think that anyone does.
Yeah. If you like wobbly tables, smash like and comment below.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with the tabletops, referencing that, and I think the sweet spot, which we never would have expected, but you can see it thriving in person, is wooden table.
Right.
No paint, because our community table in Dunwoody is a huge
Monster.
maple table, and it looks great.
It does.
So realistically, we didn't do that because we didn't want like too much maple in that space. But now I'm like,
Who cares?
give me the maple,
Yeah.
and that it just has like a clear coat on it. If it ended up with rings on it, later down the road, sand it down, refinish it, just
It's not
like
that
that.
hard, guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Easy.
Here's another
Do that in
hack.
like 10 minutes.
Right. Here's another hack. Okay.
Design hacks for your cafe.
If you are trying to add some design elements to your cafe on a budget, let me tell you something. Paint is cheap. And paint is cheaper than this really cool wood or tile or
Getting on fireclaytile.com.
freaking curtains, like drapes that cover an entire wall.
Don't even get me started on curtain rods.
It looks cool, but that's what we did in our first cafe. Is we were like, we definitely don't have the budget to add all these textures, and we were really into like curves, like archways and
Yes.
stuff like that. But turns out that stuff's expensive, and so we painted one wall yellow. It's now pink. painted one blue, right?
Yeah, it's a different blue.
Now it's a different blue.
Some places.
But I think that really went a long way. People have always commented on how they love the vibrancy of our space. And yes, that's primarily due to the culture and vibes, but we wanted the colors on the wall to reflect that. I remember us always saying, like, we don't want our space to feel sterile. And when we have an all white space, it could lend itself a little bit more to that. So, I mean, that's a quick one, but good.
Side note, anytime someone's ever posted on Instagram or told us like, wow, this space is so well designed, I'm like,
thank you.
Thank you. And what?
In what world? Yeah. Did you have someone?
Well, yeah, on the note of color.
Yeah.
I think a big design hack for y'all that we really like was the hue bulbs by Philips, affiliate link below. Oh, not really? Maybe.
Yeah.
Why
not?
I feel like you can just turn a ratchet white bathroom into a colorful experience.
Any color you want.
You can turn globes over a bar that look like Waffle House into a journey. A tapestry.
An immersive.
A cursory overview, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it's kind of like fun. People really like it. Kids like it.
Oh, yeah.
Babies are like ball.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm like, having a space that a kid likes being in, it's great for the parent.
Oh, yeah.
The kid's like, let's go to the coffee shop so I can
just go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I want to check out the bathroom.
Absolutely.
We help your kids get potty trained.
Yeah. Anytime Jude goes into the bathroom and Alfred, he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then old people come out and they're like, oh, I can't see. Everything's green.
Yes. Here's another one. You know, a lot of times you have a commercial space. It's a very raw ceiling, such as this one. I don't know if you guys can see that in the shot.
Grayson, if not, just put in like a warehouse ceiling.
Grayson, just pan up.
Yeah.
With the camera. Up.
Okay, guys, welcome back to my corner of the podcast. I have to make a small correction really quick here for my brother Ethan. He just described a term, used a term called pan up, and I do have to say that terminology is a bit incorrect, if I may. Okay, I'm just trying to keep some of you guys informed. All right, you move the camera from time to time. You point it this way, you point it that way. You're looking at this thing. When you pan the camera, you're going left to right, like this. See? But it has nothing to do with up and down. If you're talking up and down, that's called a tilt. All right. Lots of people get it wrong. It happens all the time. It happens on film sets all the time. So really, it's not that big of a deal, but you know, it's my job to educate people when I can. And if you got a camera and you're going to point it up at something, ladies and gentlemen, that's a tilt. If you're going to go from the left to the right, that's a pan. So pan left, right, tilt up, down. There you go. See you later.
Anyway, we've painted both of our ceilings in both of our cafes white.
But most people do black. Why wouldn't we just do black?
Do you think most people do black?
I think so.
I think a cool interpretation of this is in chrome yellow space. Half of the space is like white walled with black ceiling, and then the other half is like darker walled with white ceiling. That's a nice little like can always turns the page.
Set my watch by a Chrome Yellow reference from Riley, but yes, very true. It really,
what the hell?
It really livens up the space to have a white ceiling, I think, and it makes it seem bigger. And we really needed that in our first location.
Height-wise, we definitely had the height in Alfredo. One of the biggest concerns for me in Dunwoody was the ceiling height.
Right.
And can I just say that after painting it white, after Ross painted it white, we did it ourselves, guys, and it was not easy.
No, that was probably the hardest part of the entire build out process.
Painting the ceiling,
yeah,
with a sprayer.
I love doing it. It was so fun.
You did such an awesome job.
Thank you.
Maybe took some months off of our life with all the paint we consumed, but it's worth it.
We did it for the community,
right? We did it for the community, and after that, it really does. Literally elevate your space.
That's right. So let's say, again, you're balling on a budget with this build out. What do you think are the biggest heavy hitters for things you should invest in? You know, there's I think there's a tier system to this situation. Are you going to invest super heavy in your blender, or are you going to invest super heavy in your espresso machine? Or, there's different levels to this thing.
First one that came to mind for me, the ugliest part about our Alpharetta Cafe initially was the impervious surface, the FRP behind the bar.
Right.
It was such an eyesore. And I'm like, how did we do that? How did we get people to come whenever our cafe looked like that? It's because we were nice to them.
We're good guys.
Yeah, and the coffee was good, but it looked real bad. And I wish that we would have just found the money or been like, we're going to do this ourselves and tiled the backsplash initially.
How much do you think it costs to tile the backsplash if we bought the tile on whatever website we did?
I don't know. I mean, the number like $2,000 is coming to mind, like probably $2,000 or less, like two, in the range of $1,500 to $3,000, I think is what comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Okay, so a backsplash, because you have to have an impervious surface behind your bar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that is ubiquitously true across the nation as far as like health department regulations. Mm-hmm. So backsplash is a big one. How about lighting?
Yeah, for sure.
We were like progressively updating our lighting, right? We started with not a lot of track lights.
Yeah. And I would say, in retrospect, like, track lights just kind of suck.
Aw.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
So for Dunwoody, we did something that I don't know if anyone else ever in anywhere has done. And we bought these Philips Hue, like, beams.
Affiliate link below.
That are designed to be placed, like, in front of or behind your TV as, like, an accent light.
Right.
And we're like, this will do.
And we just bought like 30 of them and hung them. So there's like these thin like beam tubes that the colors can change, but we just leave them as the normal color, except for at night.
Right.
Whenever we turn the lights down to where our space just like glows blue, which is really cool.
It's cool.
In retrospect, I'm just like, we should have just found like some sort of commercial beam probably for those, because it probably would have been a little bit brighter. But there's that. And then all of our like other accent lights have always been really cool. Like Alpharetta and here, those are from Schoolhouse. Cool American made brand. And then now even cooler from Andrew Nyer, who our friend Elijah of Elliott Coffee, Cafe Elliott.
Commonly known as Smelliot.
Yeah, of Smelliot Cafe, friend of the program twice. He worked for Andrew, and we kind of got connected that way.
Right.
Got their awesome products. And yeah, I think they do a lot, especially the triangle ones over the community table.
Mm-hmm.
Those
are sweet.
Very unique.
Very
look.
swaggy.
Yeah, so we've always splurged a little bit for lighting in our cafes.
One thing I don't know if we've ever nailed down, but we've done the same thing everywhere, is countertop. We always do the Corian, which I feel like in the Dunwoody Cafe, our GC was like, don't do Corian. And we were like,
really?
We don't care what you think. Yeah, I think it's like maybe not as durable as some people want, but we've always had a pretty good time with it.
Yeah, and I think each one of them is a little different. What's the color in Dunwoody? White?
Yeah, it's like a creamy white.
So
I think it's the same as that.
Yeah, like that one I would say overall has been a touch less durable than the green one. That green one, dude, just like it hides scratches so well, the one in Alpharetta.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Alpharetta, I have no regrets about those countertops.
Regrets.
The only regrets I have is the rear countertop, which is like a laminate, and it's not great. And we did that just because we ran out of money.
I was in a coffee shop in Atlanta, in Virginia Highlands, called Larrikin, this past week, and they had the coolest green, like mosaic countertop ever.
Mosaic is cool.
Yeah. I don't know
really
if it's actually mosaic. It could have been like rough something, but darn it, it was nice. I feel like splurging on like a really cool, if you can like find, if you don't have like a big counter space, but you want to get like a statement countertop, I feel like that's always a cool piece.
Something I'm kind of thinking of right now. You can always upgrade certain things later, but there are certain things you can't upgrade later. Like I'm thinking of Caleb Pierce, our friend in Pensacola, and his cafe, Makers
Cafe.
They have these awesome like arches on their back wall.
Yeah.
That are so cool. And that's something that they wouldn't just be able to do down the road.
Right.
That is
It's a structural thing.
a structural decision they had to make before everything was built out.
Yep.
Whereas you can tile a backsplash. And I do think, it would have been nice to have that from the beginning. But if we were, I'm thinking about how one of the most empty spaces in our Alpharetta Cafe is still just like above the shelf in that white space. And I'm like, what if there were some like built-in, like, indentions up there with like things in them? That would have been really cool, but that's like something that we're obviously just never going to do
The
at
ship
this
has
point.
sailed.
Yeah.
That's right. Here's another one that we don't have really that much in our cafes, but I've seen it done really well in a lot of different build outs. Create an Instagram worthy moment, a photo op moment in your cafe. Basically like a mirror of some sort. And in our Alpharetta Cafe, we have these squiggly mirrors that I've seen a lot of people take pictures in front of. But if you are having people take pictures of your space and they are posting it, that's like some of the best marketing that you can get in this influencer world. And so, I mean, that's one. One that I've always admired is Golf Park Coffee. I think they're in Virginia.
Some are saying Lynchburg,
Virginia. They have this huge mirror, and it always has this little kind of not spicy phrase, but like
slogan
in like
kitschy,
kitschy, engaging phrase that you would want to take a picture in front of. I've also seen that at Glossier. Not that I
good company
like go there, but like, my wife goes there.
That's fine, dude.
And so they always have a mirror with it. And so I think we should take notice of that. We didn't really have as much space in our first location to do something like that.
Bro, you're saying this, we have a mirror in both of our locations.
Right. But there's not much room in the first location to like you're like
And
blocking
squiggly.
the flow of traffic if you stand there.
You're not, what? Traffic of people going to the friggin' bathroom?
It's a coffee shop. People go to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah, but if you're going to put it in one space, I mean, that's like the best place to put it. Why are you attacking the first cafe?
Coffee is a diuretic.
I understand that. Hey,
we're really coming to a close here.
One thing that I wish could be better hey guys, stay tuned and keep honest about this is how do we make our merch area better in Alpharetta?
This is a good one.
We're on our journey.
Oh.
And shout out to Circle Coffee when we went to visit them in Topeka,
Kansas.
I walked in and I said, that's a nice merch area.
Yep.
And it is kind of similar to the one that we have in Dunwoody.
Well,
And I like that one too. It's the same George and Willie
it's
pegboard.
because I saw it at Circle and we took
Really?
the idea.
And this is coming out on air. David, I am so sorry.
For what we did and didn't do.
Yeah. So we're just publicly shouting you out for being epic. But dude, I feel like how to integrate an epic merch area like into the flow of the space is kind of clutch money because people don't buy our stuff in Alpharetta because they don't see the stuff. They get in line and it's at their back. And then they're like, I thought you guys got new merch. And we're like, yeah, it's right behind you. And they're like, oh, I'll check it out later.
Proof of concept right here. We used to sell not a lot of retail coffee in Dunwoody because it was in not an inconvenient spot, but not the most obvious spot whenever you step up to
It was in a hurtful spot.
to the register. Whereas in Alpharetta, the retail coffee is right beside the POS. And we, in all of our wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane amounts of wisdom.
Yes.
We put our heads together and we were like, let's make a retail coffee table.
Yeah.
Tables.
Back to the core theme.
Yeah. And so we kind of sketched out some thoughts, handed them to our friend Zion, and he refined the thoughts and made this incredible table with like this grid system on top that's like, it's like an art piece.
Yep.
And all of our coffees are now on that in Dunwoody, and you have to walk by them and stand by them when you're in line.
It's very eye-catching.
And we, at one point, we're probably selling 50% of what our Alpharetta Cafe sells in retail boxes. And now we're probably like 30 to 50% more.
Up.
Just because of that
sales
single decision, which is awesome.
Thank you, Zion.
I've got 2 more really heavy hitters and we can wrap.
Ross, we've got to go, bro.
Okay.
Make it fast. These people don't have time.
In our first location, we went through a journey of having our menu on the counter right where you order in front of the POS. And
you shouldn't have.
That at first was fine, but whenever we really started to get a line all
Sales
the time,
were going up.
And when we started to make our menu more complex with seasonal beverages, etc., people didn't know what they wanted to order until they were the person. It was their turn to order, So then we moved to an overhead menu that is more visible to everyone in line. They can be looking at that menu board while they're waiting in line, figure out what they want. And then when they get up to the POS, they're ready to go. So it decreases that time.
Then they can ask, what is hojicha?
Right. Then they can ask, what is Coffee Nerd Drinks? And then the other thing we did was we added a QR code by the door where people can scan that and look on their phones. So thank you 2020 for normalizing QR codes. So those are some big ones. Overhead menu. Last one, and this one is a little controversial, and the ending might shock you.
Ross.
Okay. Power outlets in coffee shops.
Ooh. Stop.
Let me stop you right there.
Ethan, why don't you take this one?
What's the prompt?
Power outlets in coffee shops.
Thoughts.
A conversation.
A cursory overview. Okay. Man, it's just, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want someone?
Stop deferring, dude. Stop pushing back. Just say what you're thinking.
Say what you believe in.
I'll just say what we go for. We like having areas for outlets and areas that don't have outlets. We don't like to be like, no working here. If you have a computer, you're a bad person. First off, let me just say, like, if you want to go to a coffee shop and work on a computer, I'm like, why isn't your computer just charged? Like, I can't. And this is me venting. This is even where we were going.
Dude, stuff happens. I don't know. It makes total sense to me.
But when people go to a coffee shop to work and they get mad that they don't have access to a charger, I'm like, you're banking on that?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody knows sometimes they're not around. But look, I get it. I've never been mad. I've never been mad ever about anything.
Seem like you're mad right now.
I'm not mad.
You seem mad.
But we like to have like, okay, this is the area, like, hey, the community table in this bar, that's like you want to plug up. But we're kind of a social cafe. So we like to, not have everybody plugged in.
I'll say I went to the Alpharetta Cafe last week, and I was going to work there in the morning, one morning, and I pulled out my computer. My computer was dead. But I always have this backup battery that can charge my computer. It doesn't really charge it, just like keeps it alive. And I pulled it out. It was dead. And I was like, I'm not going to pull out my charger and like
plug up.
I'm just going to go to HQ. I should have had my computer charged. It's my fault. And
that's why everyone should just go to HQ.
Not everyone thinks that same way, and that's fine.
But so our first location is as we talked about, a lot smaller. And so we actually took away outlets. There were more outlets in there when we inherited or took over the space.
20% of the seats have access to outlets. Fact.
We took some away because we just didn't want people camping out at these little two tops when we only have like 4 of them, or and then we have other tables too. But I no regrets at all.
I like if people can like plug up and hang out.
Yeah,
we just can't have 100% of the cafe being that. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you sort of have like this built-in timer with your computer and its battery. Like you can't sit there all day. So anyways, not everyone's that way, but that's how we've thought about it. I think the point is be intentional. Make a decision on purpose.
I'm sorry I got so upset.
No, it's cool. Guys, did you have fun recording this piece of gold radio content?
I didn't like when Ethan got mad. Kind of scared me.
I'm not proud of what happened, but I want to be better for you guys and for you guys.
Have a great rest of your week. This releases on Mondays, right?
Yeah.
Guys, kill it this week.
Apparently there was this one episode where we were like, I don't know, we said something where we were like, yeah, this without a doubt will be out by, I don't remember what it was, but this without a doubt will be out before the election happens. We said that on air. And then it came out like 3 days after the election.
Wow.
All of our bold predictions were lost.
Yeah.
Dang.
I don't know how that even came up. Like, why were we talking about something in reference to election day?
Because it's a big day. I think it's like sort of a landmark.
Well, it's NFL trade deadline day.
Yeah.
So
we're going to hang up now. Bye.
Bye.